What's up, guys? NBA 2K16 is coming out fairly soon. So, they have announced that there's going to be 12 new historic teams in the game. As of right now, we know 5 of them. 7 more are coming out. 2K is announcing 2 a week every Thursday. So, I'll talk about which teams have already been announced and then some historic teams that I think should be in the game, that will be in the game, that I think will be in the game, or just some other older teams. So, to start off, I'm just playing some Blacktop with my player. He looks pretty weird. Against 2 pretty good guys, Dr. J and Will Chamberlain, just for something to show in the background. And both of them are historic guys, so kind of fitting. First off, the 2000 Blazers were announced. This team made the Western Conference Finals. These guys were known as the Jailblazers, as well as many of them had off-court issues, with the law. They had Rasheed Wallace, who, very, very loud guy. They had Steve Smith. They had really old Scottie Pippen. They had Damon Stoudemire, who was very good back then. A rookie, Jermaine O'Neal, who will be pretty cool to play with. And then Arvydas Sabonis, who I think should be in the game. Because, well, he is in the game, but I think he'd be really fun to play with. He's 7'3", like 290. And he had decent shooting, and he was a really good defender and passer. So that'd be pretty fun to play with him. Next team on the list is the 2003 Mavs. This team made it to the Western Conference Finals. Of course, Dirk was on this team, but they also had Michael Finley and Steve Nash to round out like a big 3 for them. They were very, very cool. I think they'll be great to play with. Looking forward to them. They also have Sean Bradley and another big guy, 7'6", so that'll be pretty cool to play with. Next team announced was the 2001 Lakers. They won the championship this year, and this team. Shaq, Kobe, they had Derek Fisher, and this was just part of the three-peat. I believe this was the second season that they won it, second out of the 3 in a row. And this is the year that I believe in the final Shaq averaged like 36 and 16 and 5 assists or something crazy. And this is when Kobe started to become MVP level or like a great Kobe. The next team is the 2008 Celtics. This team won it all that year. I'm a Boston fan, so it's pretty awesome, and plus I kind of remember this team. When I saw this was announced, I was kind of surprised because 2008, I know, great math, this was 7 years ago, so it's kind of surprising that they put a team so recent in there, but it'll be pretty fun to play with them. They had, of course, the big 3, Pierce, KG, and Ray, and then they had, the 2 other stars was Rondo. This was right before he started to become very, very good. And lead the league in assists and steals, but he was still pretty good back then. Very good defender, and he was a pretty good passer and everything else. They also had Leon Poe and James Posey. Those 2 guys, I remember them. They were very good, like glue guys, fun to play with. Kendrick Perkins. I don't think I mentioned him earlier, but this is when he wasn't complete garbage. They also had Tony Allen and Brian Scalabrine, who rounded out the bench, and oh my God. A Brian Scalabrine in this game is going to be legendary. Alright, next team is the 2000 Raptors. They only made it to the first round. They had a lot of older guys, but the whole team centers around Vince Carter and T-Mac. They'll be really fun to play with, and I'm looking forward to having them. Even though this wasn't like T-Mac at his best, he was very good back then, and it'll still be pretty fun to use him. So those teams have been announced. They are official in the game. I saw this on Chris Smooth's video. I'll link it. Good guy. And then here's some other teams I think should be in the game or deserve it, or some historic teams are pretty fun. The 2003 Nets. This is right before Vince Carter went to the Nets after the Raptors, I believe. And this is when they made back-to-back finals in 2002 and 2003. With Jason Kidd at the helm, they had Kenyon Martin, Richard Jefferson, and a couple other decent guys, but they also did have Brian Scalabrine. So 2 Brian Scalabrines in one game. That'd be legendary. Put this team in. I think they'll put it in because a lot of these guys had Onyx cards with Jason Kidd, Kmart, and Richard Jefferson. So I think they'll put it in. I really hope they do. The next team that I hope they'll put in, I feel like they could or would, is the 2005 Suns. They made the Western Conference Finals. And 3 of these guys had Onyx cards with Amari, who was very young at this time. He was probably like 20-ish. And he was a crazy scorer back then. Sean Marion and Steve Nash. All 3 had Onyx cards from their Suns days, so I think they'll put in a Suns team. They also had Joe Johnson back then, as well as Quentin Richardson and some other guys, and this was the run and gun Suns, and that inspired the Warriors of this year somewhat. So I think that'll be pretty fun to put in. I think they'll put it in because a lot of the guys are either still in the NBA or have been pretty recent, but it's a pretty cool and fun team. The next team, I've said the 1962 Warriors. I believe one of the old 60s Warriors or the 76ers, any of the Philadelphia / San Francisco teams that Wilt played on deserve to be in here. I'm talking about Wilt right now, but I'm playing against Wilt because, I mean, this Wilt was a 94 overall, but I believe he was 31 at the time that this guy was, or this team was there. So I think we need like a actual prime Wilt who would be like a 98 or a 99. There is an Onyx card with him who's currently the most expensive and best card in the game. And I believe it was the 62 season. And that's a season where he averaged 50 points and 26 rebounds. So I think they should put him in, and that'd be the best season by far to put him in. I mean, he won championships other seasons. This year, they weren't that good. They made the second round, but that was when Wilt was absolutely dominant. The next team that I think has a chance to be put in is the 2004 Timberwolves. They made the Western Conference Finals. This was the year that Kevin Garnett was named MVP. He was crazy back then. I believe he averaged something like 26 and 16 and like 5 assists. Oh my god, that guy was crazy back then. They also had Sam Cassell and Latrell Sprewell and some other decent guys, but this is all about KG. So I don't know if they'll put this in the game, but that'd be very cool. 2 of those guys have Onyx cards. And yeah, I mentioned Onyx cards a lot because for some reason I feel like if a team had a lot of Onyx cards or guys were in the game like in a historic collection, they're more inclined to put them in the game for some reason. That's just my view on it. And so on the screen we're moving to the second game against Dr. J, just to, a little heads up. The next team I thought about was the 2007 Cavs. This was the team that LeBron carried to the finals. They were absolute garbage besides LeBron. But I think, for some reason, I feel like 2K will reward LeBron and put in one of his Cavs teams. The Miami years, I think, are too close for them to put it in. So back then, it was pretty much just LeBron, but they also had Zydrunas Ilgauskas, who was another big guy. He was like 7'3". They had Larry Hughes, and that was pretty much the entire team. I mean, they had Varejao and Drew Gooden, but neither of them were that spectacular. And they also had Boobie Gibson, one of the best nicknames of all time, on that team. He's no longer the NBA, but that was, oh my god, he was fun to watch, and that was probably the best nickname ever. Alright, next team was the 1978 Bullets. I doubt they'll put this in the game, but they do have 2 guys on here who I believe are in the game with Wes Unseld and Alvin Hayes. And they won the championship. This was way back in the day when the Washington franchise was actually really good. Washington is up and coming right now, but this was when they actually won the championship. And this was Wes Unseld was also the only guy besides Wilt Chamberlain to win MVP as a rookie, so it'd be pretty cool to see him back in his day. The next team I was thinking about was the 2001 Bucks. They made the Eastern Conference Finals, and this is back when Ray Allen was more than just a pure shooter, and he was a complete scorer. They had Ray Allen and Glenn Robinson, both great scorers at that time. They had some other guys like Sam Cassell and Michael Redd, but Michael Redd was a rookie, so he probably wouldn't be that good if they're in the game. I don't know if they'll put it in because I just don't know, because they weren't super good. I mean, they did make the Eastern Conference Finals, but I just have a feeling that they won't put them in. The next team I really, really want to see to be put into the game, and I don't know if they'll put them in, though, because of, I don't know if it's licensing or something, but the 95 Pacers. This team made the Eastern Conference Finals. This was Reggie Miller back in his prime. They also had Rick Smits, another big guy. He was like 7'4", 280 or something like that. He was really good. They had some other pretty good guys on that team, including Mark Jackson, the former Warriors coach. I doubt they'll put this in the game, or it's not very likely. But yeah, I really hope they do, because playing with Reggie Miller would be really fun. And Rick Smits having the big tall guys in the game are always really fun to play with, and why not have some more? The next team I feel like they actually could put in the game, and that I really want to see, is the 2007 Rockets. Just like T-Mac always did, he did not make it out of the first round. And this is also Yao back in his prime. They had the Sapphire Yao card from this year. And then they had some other decent guys, but like Mutombo was there, but that was when he was like 42 or something. He was really old at the time. They had some decent guys, but that was a pretty fun team to watch. I believe that was the year that T-Mac scored 13 points in 38 seconds or whatever. So that'd be really fun to play with, because I remember playing T-Mac back in video games like 2K6, 2K7, 2K8, and he was, oh my god, he was legendary. So moving on to the next team is the 2004 Pistons. I feel like they should put him in, and that they could. This was the team that won it all. They beat the Lakers, and they had Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace, Tyshawn, passing his name. They also had Rookie Darko, Ben Wallace, Mehmet Okur as their sixth man, and Tayshaun Prince. While there was no true alpha dog, they were so fun and so awesome to watch, because, I mean, they did overtake the freaking Lakers, who had, I believe that was still Shaq and Kobe. So that'd be pretty fun to play with, and I feel like they would put him in because it's one of those one-of-a-kind teams. The next team that they should put back in the game is the 2002 Kings. They've been there for like 2 or 3 years, from 2K12 to 2K14, I believe. But they took him out because Chris Webber was on the team for some reason. I believe his licensing, just like Reggie Miller, why he isn't in the game. Or I don't know completely. I'm not part of 2K. Just guessing. But yeah, they should put him back, put Chris Webber in the game. They made the Western Conference Finals. They were gypped out of a championship. And that team would be so much fun to play with. The final team that I was looking at, I don't know if they'll put him in because it's a Charles Barkley team. I don't know if Barkley can be in 2K or something like that. It's a 1993 Suns. They made the finals with Charles Barkley, Kevin Johnson, Tom Chambers, who has a card in the game as well, just to let you know. And then one other name that I saw was Oliver Miller, who is probably the fattest player of all time. I believe he peaked at like 380 pounds or something like that. And I love to see a big guy like that. Usually I like taller guys, but chubbier guys, put them in. So those are the teams, and just to let you know, we need Kareem back in the game. Kareem was back in 2K12. He was a part of the Lakers team and the Bucks team, the 70-71 and the 87 Lakers, and he was so fun to play with. And they took him out, I believe the same reason, the licensing or whatever, which kind of sucks. But they should put him back in. He was so cool to play with, and we really need him back. And also, Barkley, I realized he would have been on the 85 76ers team, but they didn't put him in. Just put him back in 2K. That's my request. So, I'm probably going to just show like the 2K16 cover right now because I ran out of footage, but thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, like, comment, share, subscribe, maybe send it to Ronnie2K on Twitter or whatnot. Try to get it to 2K because maybe I guessed completely right. Like most of these teams would be on there. Maybe I didn't. Whatever. It's fun though. Comment down below who you think will be in there or who should be in there or anything like that. Thank you so much. Peace.